Hey guys, a lot of you guys have been asking us whose idea was it to start a podcast? Sort of how and why did you start a podcast, and how did you guys get to where you are?
Yep.
We just thought we'd address it in a separate video. So, Abe, take us away.
I think why we started a podcast was more so because we wanted a platform where we could talk about footy, basically all the fun and piss take conversations we have related to footy and sport in general. We kind of have a platform for that. I think we've been doing this. When I say doing this,
since we were kids, man.
Yeah, basically following footy, talking about footy, supporting.
Since primary school.
Yeah. If you guys go back to our older videos, you'll find out how we got into all this.
So,
the footy side of things, anyway. And basically, that's kind of the reason why we kind of started it. In terms of how we kind of came about with it is, I think for the last couple of years, I've been probably telling you guys around.
You have.
us,
You've
hey,
kept saying this.
Guys, we talk about footy
This
and
is your
sport
idea.
a lot.
This is 100% your idea.
Let's start a podcast about it, and I think it's a very niche thing.
Yeah.
So we kind of started it off with me kind of mentioning this a lot, and everybody kind of going, "Yeah, no worries, sure." Like what they call dream talk, at night time when you're around some mates.
Group chat, and the boys see it, and they just
when no one kind of responds to the message. Kind of like that, but in real life. So people, like a fair few of our mates have kind of been like brushing it off, and like I don't think anybody was really serious about it, or they didn't think it would get to a point where it's serious enough. And then I think, if it's not mistaken, you and our mate Walid, who was here last week, I kind of kept telling you guys, hey boys, like we actually know a lot about footy, and we follow it pretty, consistently. So like, let's create a platform where we can talk about this.
And to be fair, what you did, it was one of those times where I remember this. I very clearly remember it. You told us, we're like, whatever. Yeah. And then the next day, you sent through a bunch of studios to the group chat.
There's actually a story that you've left out about that.
Yes.
So I'll start it off, but you can explain it from your point of view. We took a trip to Sydney early this year.
Yes, we did.
So I'll let you explain that story.
Yeah, I remember this. It was a Thursday night in Sydney. Our first night in Sydney, or it might have been the Friday night, whatever.
Yeah, the Friday night.
Yeah, sorry, the Friday night. The footy was on. I think Essendon were playing. And you and I were sitting on two chairs, two white chairs, very simple desk chairs, and we were talking about footy. I kid you not, it was like 2-3 hours.
Yeah.
We just got carried away. Straight talk, straight footy. The boys would jump in and out of the conversation. We just got carried away.
Yep.
And then not long after that, we caught up again, and you said, let's start a podcast, and we were just like, But the next day,
it was the same weekend we were at.
I remember
you
sent through
a bunch of studios. Yeah.
And I remember going to work. I was on the train. I just woke, it was like one of those days where I woke up out of bed, got on to stay.
Straight for work.
I was like, whatever. And then an hour at work, I looked at it. I'm like, actually, let's look at this. And we think about it. And then I remember when I was on, it was a Thursday. I was on the train home from work, and I called one of our mates, who is an expert in podcasting, producing, behind the scenes. He knows all about this. I called him and said, hey, and he loves his footy.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, we want to do this, how do we do it?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
He basically gave me a whole bunch of ideas, wrote it up in some notes, shared the notes with you, and said, this is what we could do.
Absolutely.
And then I called you later that night. Well, we were with another mate.
Yes,
we were talking about it. I called you that night.
Yep,
do you want to continue from?
Yeah. I think basically after that phone call, we actually met up that weekend, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we did.
On a Saturday at your place.
Yes.
And we kind of did what we thought was a trial run of what we thought a podcast would sound and look like.
I had no idea what we were doing.
We probably still don't have an idea what we're doing, but we're kind of just winging it.
Yeah.
But we basically kind of did a run through of what we wanted our podcast to look like, our episodes to look like. Obviously, we agreed on the fact that it was going to be heavily Carlton Collingwood themed, because we're two mates.
That's our passion.
Go for two basically rival teams. But we also didn't kind of want to make it extremely niche to a point where it's only Collingwood Carlton related.
We wanted to talk about footy.
So we talk about other things related to footy as well, not just Collingwood Carlton. So we thought, hey, why don't we make Collingwood Carlton a big part of it, but also include other things related to footy in it. And that's how we kind of came up with our first draft of what our now
our template,
episode template, where we have kind of our notes and what we kind of go through, and we basically use that.
And that night we were like, once we nailed it, or not nailed it,
but kind of figured
it out. We booked the studio that night.
Yes,
we booked the studio,
and
and then the first episode we recorded. But we didn't go live. We didn't go live.
Horrible.
The boys were very, and this is where I think the boys were really supportive. Is we didn't go live. So we didn't know what we were doing. We just stuck a camera out. We recorded.
Yep, literally that.
And then we just shared this video internally to our friends. And just sought as much feedback as we could.
Yes.
And we got a lot of feedback. A lot of the boys gave some brutally harsh feedback, which is what we wanted. We needed it.
We needed
we
that,
wanted it. They just said change this, change this, change this.
Don't sit like that. Put your mic here. Record it like this. Do this. So
and then we went back, took that feedback on, did it again. And sought the same feedback. And then after the second time, we got more feedback. We made the changes, and then we went live the third week. So that was the start. But along the journey, we've had a lot of help. And
absolutely. I think if anybody thinks that we kind of just the two of us are just doing this alone,
it was a community, bro.
Basically, we have a group chat with like 4 or 5 mates in it, and we kind of just use almost each other to just bounce ideas off and bounce different thoughts off. We've kind of low-key assigned everybody roles, unofficial roles.
I know one of the boys, AK, he gave me permission to mention him. He does our thumbnails,
graphic
designer, creative direction, and he has been from the start. He's been giving us a lot of feedback on our descriptions and our headings and whatnot. One of the other boys, Z, does social media. And helps us out.
And kind of with the entertainment factor of it.
Yeah, senior social media advisor.
We've named him
on the
we've named him
in the group chat.
Yes.
So, and I know a lot of the other boys were here, and even they've also helped out.
Absolutely.
And look, plenty of others, even some American friends.
Yeah, we've had a couple of friends from overseas that have also kind of given feedback on like what to do with podcasts, videos, and like how we cut up our reels, and like even how we use our social media to a degree. Obviously, we both have our own social media accounts, but it's more just it's our personal shit.
Big learning experience. Yeah.
Whereas when you kind of bring it to a platform where people can engage with you and talk to you and whatnot, there's a whole lot of metrics and statistics and all that rubbish that we had no idea about or never ever really used, or never really paid attention to be completely honest with you. Kind of learned a lot about that from people that have kind of gone through this already and have done this. Like week by week, episode by episode, we change little things. Hopefully they're noticeable, and if they're not, we're kind of just learning all of this as we go. So
that's pretty much,
we basically just kind of been putting what we think along with the feedback and the help and the ideas that we're kind of getting from our mates and the people around us. And not just like the people around us, but even people that know how to kind of go about putting together media, audio, visual.
All of that. Yeah, we're just constantly taking feedback on.
Aesthetics, all of that kind of thing. So we're just kind of taking that on board and just kind of going through that as, like I said, week by week. And putting that together. And it's a question that's kind of come up a fair amount recently. Even when people see us or we kind of run into our friends and the general community around us, even on weekends, they're like, oh, like, why'd you guys start a podcast? How'd you guys how do you do this? How do you do that? And then like I sometimes catch myself Loki giving advice to people about how to do things. And I'm just like, cool, I've been doing this for like a month. I don't really know, but like, we're just kind of, basically just winging it, but with a bit of help and a bit of advice.
Yeah, and a lot of it is just, it is our friends, it is our community, it's the uncles and aunts that watch the episodes and give us our feedback.
They're just like, what?
But you know what? They give us ideas and we implement these ideas, you know, and like, not all of them are into footy, but they see us and they watch and they give us their thoughts.
Surprisingly, there's actually been a couple of people that have told me we've started watching footy because you guys do a podcast. And
that's the best part.
You're two familiar faces that we recognize. So, to kind of make the whole answer a little bit short, we're just kind of having fun with it, and we're just figuring it out as we go.
Exactly, yeah.
So, that's kind of the answer to the question of how and why and what kind of brought all of this together, Nabil.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that wraps us.
That kind of wraps it up for that. So thanks for tuning in, guys. We love and appreciate all the support and the effort that you guys are kind of putting in showing us, you know, how much what we're doing is actually meaning something. always don't forget to continue supporting us, continue liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, kind of giving us your feedback and whatnot with our content. And
we do take it on board.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll kind of keep trying to do our best. And with that, ciao.
Ciao.